Taylor Swift. That's right, Taylor Swift. Just minutes after last night's debate, she publicly endorsed the Democratic vice presidential candidate, Kamala Harris. The singer said in a social media post that she will be voting for Harris in the November election. She signed off as a childless cat lady in an apparent dig at remarks made by Donald Trump's running mate, JD Vance. Yeah, there were lots of meows heard across the world right after that debate last night. To talk about that, I'm joined now by Scott Roxborough from DW's Culture Desk. Scott, we didn't plan on talking to you about this, but this is what has happened. Taylor Swift now endorsing Harris. How big of a deal is this?
Well, on the entertainment side, in the celebrity world, this is a huge deal. I mean, Taylor Swift is, by almost all measures, the biggest star in the world, as we've seen from her record-breaking recent global concert. She has something like 280 million Instagram fans that saw that post that you just showed. And from a celebrity endorsement point of view, no one is bigger than Taylor Swift. So from that point of view, this is huge news. Whether it has any impact on the election is a whole other question.
Yeah, well, let me ask you about the language she used. Why did she sign her Harris endorsement with the hashtag Childless Cat Lady?
Yes, as you mentioned, this looks like a dig at JD Vance, the Republican vice presidential candidate, who in an interview from a little while ago that we just recently resurfaced, criticized the Democrats as, in his words, being led by childless cat ladies. Now, of course, Taylor Swift herself does not have children, and as we saw from the post, is a cat fan. So she is taking a direct dig at JD Vance and a lot of young women and childless women, and also, of course, cat fans around the world have been annoyed by JD Vance's comments. So this was just another nice little dig at the Republicans, and particularly at JD Vance.
And we know that celebrity and politics, you know, they share the same bed many times in the United States. We know that Taylor Swift is a huge global pop icon. She has millions of followers in the United States. How much political leverage, influence do you think, though, she has that will make itself known on Election Day in November?
Yeah, that's a really big question. I mean, Taylor Swift, of course, has been a big pop star for a long time, but she's only recently started to really get involved in politics. Really, 2018 was the first time she gave a public endorsement of a candidate supporting the Democratic candidate in her home state of Tennessee in the midterms that year. It apparently had an effect. There was a record number of voter registrations, something like 160,000 new voter registrations in the first 48 hours after her endorsement. And maybe we'll see a similar thing with this endorsement, that there'll be young voters registering to vote. Whether or not that has a big impact is another question. In that election that I mentioned, 2018, her candidate, the Democratic candidate, didn't win in Tennessee. So maybe she didn't have as much impact as people would have hoped. But the vibes around Kamala Harris through this endorsement have gotten a lot better. So at least on that level, Taylor Swift has had an impact already on this election.
Yeah, Taylor Swift, cats and dogs in a presidential debate. Who would have thought? DW's Scott Roxborough. As always, Scott, thank you.